5 seconds remaining.
Can you hear me?
I could hear you, and welcome back to Game 2 between Navi and Evil Geniuses. This is Luminous, and of course, the guy who said, "Can you hear me?" That was Broccoli. This is Game 2 of Best of 3 series for anybody that's joining us. Navi on the Radiant side, they are down 1 game. EG, nobody thought they could actually take a Best of 3 series, but they're off to a great lead, up 1 game. And of course, a little bit of respect ban coming out from Navi as Sexy Bambles, Nature's Prophet did so much work that last game. Somehow off-lane against the Klinks, somehow got double kills on the Klinks as well as a ganking Nyx Assassin.
10 seconds
And
remaining.
the game was off to the races. He got a lot of help from Jo as well as Fear. But
5
in this game
seconds
too, what do you
remaining.
expect, Broccoli?
Man, it's so hard to say that the draft hasn't even started. But I think Navi especially is a team that likes to keep their options open going into the second round.
Turn to pick.
But yeah, they don't want to deal with Nyx again, and they were, I guess, not too pleased by that Bambo Prophet. So definite respect bans there.
Seems like both teams are quite okay trading some of these most OP hero as Skywrath Mage Chen and Nature's Prophet as well as Lifestealer. They're kind of great heroes, but not really often regarded as OP heroes, if you will. Batrider, Wisp, Magnus, these are some of the more game-breaking heroes, and it's all in play right now, so this is something. This is going to be some crazy Dota. Rubik's going to be played, most likely by Kuroki, trying his best to steal some big RP. What do you know about Wisp, and how do you feel that Evil Genius is going to be playing it? I feel like Wisp is one of those heroes that allow you to be very aggressive, but at the same time, if you want to play a farming game with a Wisp, because you can actually get your carry into any fight anytime you want, he could just help you farm as well. I don't imagine that's what EG will do. I think they will be using it in terms of very calculated gank. Very similar to the way that Bambo and Jail used it last game in terms of setting up global ganks. And it's gonna mean that if Navi ever falls behind, they could lose some quick towers or even as a Roshan. So Navi's gonna basically play this game perfectly.
Wisp is so annoying, man. So there's this rumor, a bunch of nonsense going around for a while that Wisp is weak in laning phase and you beat him by crushing him lane. I think that's ridiculous. Like the tether regeneration is just so good. He gets a magic stick, gets 1 level in overpower, and you can't really kill the target, and you always get turned on. And Wisp, most supports can't really de-ward safely against aggressive tri lanes, but Wisp actually can, because if you go on him, he just tethers all the way out of your range, and he's fine. And then what makes him so awful in mid-game to deal with is that even if you're not killing people with Relocate, you're pretty much guaranteeing that your carry is going to out-carry their carry. But they just picked Alchemist, so that may actually not be true now.
Well, I mean, what is the difference? You talked about how Overcharge is very good at protecting your teammate. You talked about how Tether is very good protecting himself. What suddenly Alchemist enters the equation? What throws it off?
Well, so the reason why he makes your carry basically out-farm the other carries is because they always have to be careful. They can't farm anywhere safely, and we see a spin pick up by EG. But so Alchemist has to be careful until he gets a Lothar's, or Shadow Blade, sorry. Because once Wisp is 6, he can be killed anywhere he is, so it really limits his ability to farm. But Alchemist in lane actually probably does pretty good against Wisp because he has a pretty long single target stun, so they could actually burst the Wisp down. Plus, he farms faster than everybody anyway, so it's not really going to matter if he can't farm as many opportunities as other carries because he gets more out of what he can do.
Yeah, we saw.
So that's an interesting pick.
Yeah, we saw EG banning out Alchemist out in the first game as well. So Alchemist, I mean, you talked about his farming capability and how he could go deep into the late game. As a roamer, as a ganker, alongside with Batrider, this is one of the more dangerous 1-2 punch combination possible out there. So Navi is going to be looking to be aggressive in the laning stage, in the mid game, and maybe farm up into the ultra late game if that's what they need to do. We saw this combo Wisp Sven back in the G1 Western qualifier for EG, and they actually knocked down Team Liquid to the loser bracket with this combo. So it's a combo they use very well. I believe Oman Fear is going to be on Sven here, and Jail will be on the Wisp. That's how they played it back in G1 Western qualifier, and I imagine it's going to be somewhat similar in this particular game as well.
Navi's turn
Yeah.
to ban.
Another interesting thing, Warcry will negate a lot of the minus armor that Alchemist brings. So I don't think that's why they picked Sven, but that's an interesting benefit they're going to get.
Yeah, added benefit, of course, the offensive benefit, of course, they have the Overcharge you talked about earlier. Overcharge could be used defensively as well, like you brought up. Of course, Magnus being in power and adding a little bit more cleavage to Sven. That's a very rare sentence, a rare way to put it. But yeah, the damage potential is going to be insane. My question is, Na'Vi has a ton of single target lockdown. Every one of their hero has single target lockdown. And I think Magnus is generally going to be the key target because you go on Sven, but if you get 3-man RP as a counter initiate, then game gets hard. So I imagine want to go on both Magnus and Sven if possible. I'm not sure whether they have enough. It really comes down to how farmed this Alchemist gets. And I guess it depends on the laning stage as well.
Yeah, something they could try to do is Alchemist might... I mean, Acid Spray is a huge AoE and a decent cast range. So Alchemist might try to position it really far behind the fight just to stop a Mag Blink. Because that would really allow them to go on Sven much easier. But
man, I remember those days back in... I know people hate me for always referring back to 2010 Dota, but here's a 2010 Dota reference. Alchemist was one of the carry of choice back then, and his Acid Spray stopping a whole bunch of Blink Dagger. Blink Sand King was a norm back then, Blink Enigma was a norm back then, and team fights were won and lost based on whether you could dodge that Alchemist Spray good enough, and maybe that is the answer that we are all looking for against Magnus in terms of mid-game initiation, so here we go. Also, Broccoli, make sure that your in-game audio is turned on. If you need a little bit more help, I could walk you through it, but just go into the audio tab and make sure the open mic threshold is on. If it's...
Yep, it is.
Toggle it one more time just to make sure it's
okay.
Good.
Are people having trouble hearing me?
People are having trouble hearing you, and I don't want them to miss your insight. Meanwhile, on the second phase of ban here, Navi's going to be banning out Darkseer, Twin Head Dragon, as well as Leshrac. All of these support heroes are kind of big AoE wombo combo, follows so well with the Magnus, so they don't want to deal with that. Of course, EG is going to be banning out some of the key initiators in the form of Puck, Storm, as well as Nyx Assassin. Thank you guys for letting us know any technical difficulties we might have, and we will try our best to fix it as soon as we can. And of course, we do apologize for the technical difficulties as well. We're back to second phase, and it seems like Na'Vi will be picking up Enchantress alongside. So, I gotta say, Na'Vi's early game is looking very, very scary right now. Right from minute one, like, you could get dive upon, you could get ganked upon, and it's not like EG has bad heroes. In fact, EG has some of the sturdiest, tankiest hero, but despite that, I feel like EG could give up first blood very easily.
Yeah. And, oh man, Coddle Wisp tri-lane so hard to deal with.
Alright guys, alright guys, I think if you guys are, if your friends is not watching this game, go tell them to watch it right now, because Dendy Pudge is making a comeback. I call him the Chinese Kryptonite. And even though EG is nowhere near Chinese, I wanted to see this hero back in TI2, in the Grand Finals, for example. They didn't pick it then. And let's see if Dendy still has a rust, whether he can play the Pudge as good as he used to be able to play it. Whether can he lane against Magnus? Can he lane against Magnus, Pudge? I don't think so,
yeah.
right?
I think he'll do okay. I'm not sure who wins that lane. I don't think I've ever actually seen it, but I don't think Pudge is going to die. And I don't think Mag will die either. So they're just going to trade farm, which I think is fine for Na'Vi. I mean, Mag is going to farm always with Bottle Crowing, so it's not like anybody can really stop him. But Pudge is sometimes going to have a really hard time laning, but against Mag he should be fine.
Any reason for EG to say, alright, let's perhaps put a dual lane mid and shut him down? Because a Pudge without a good or a decent early game is practically useless.
Yeah, the farm is nice, but I don't think it's required. What's most important is getting level 7. I mean, once you're level 7, you can really get back in the game, which is big hooks.
Yep.
So and then
they could land those big hooks.
Yeah, I don't know if Wisp and Sven dual lane will be enough to kill him. Maybe they could do like Coddle Sven and just spam Storm Bolts or something. I don't know. I'm not sure they're gonna dual lane.
Well, Weaver's going to get the pick up here, a little bit of consideration to dodge those hooks, maybe survive those early game dive and ganks. But for now, Evil Genius's lineup is going to be Jayo playing the Wisp, EG Bamboo is going to be playing the Weaver. I imagine Sven is going to be handling the, being played by Old Man Fear. Magnus is going to be handled by Demon, and last but not least, we have Beatus playing the support of Keeper. Keeper of Life support.
So on Na'Vi, we've got Puppey on Enchantress, and I'm interested to see if they go aggressive, or if he just kind of free farms the jungle, because a mid-game Enchantress that farmed and went like Agnes or Aghanim or even Midas is pretty nasty to deal with. So I think it'll be interesting how they lane that. Also, and then we have Dendy Pudge, of course. Rubik will be played by the stand-in Miracle, which puts Kuroki actually on the farming Alchemist, and then Batrider will be played by Funnick.
Yeah, a little bit of interesting role switch. You know, Havol's not being here makes it so that Kuroki plays carry, which, by the way, he plays a carry role just fine. And seems like they are going to be going offensive. Enchantress probably might... Did he misclick a smoke? I think he did. That's, unless he's trying to go deep with the smoke somewhere. Yeah, I think he misclicked this one.
Yeah,
I don't
she's prancing around. I don't think that was intentional.
Yeah, well, on one hand, I don't want to say that was too costly, but it is kind of costly because that first smoke is always, you know, your gank. And now, well,
yeah.
The option is not there, so... hopefully, I think the Dota audio issue has been solved, so I want to give myself a clap in the back. Broccoli, you should do so as well, because damn, that was so hard. That last 10 minutes was the hardest 10 minutes of my life, not gonna lie. But everything's good, and now we're gonna see good Dota. So here we go, Pudge is gonna be going on the mid lane. Oh, nice deny by Beatus. No illusion room for you, my friend. And yeah, it's gonna be standard build up here for Magnus, going for the quick bottle. Dendi going for a little bit more regen, in fact, a lot more regen. Double South, a Tango, and a Gauntlet. So he's going to be slowly lasting up to his own bottle. I don't think, yeah, like you said, the mid matchup is going to be too interesting to watch, but I'm pretty sure that's where first blood will happen, even though, like you said, no kills will happen there, because as I look away, it's probably somebody's going to die.
Yeah, they're both gankable, but I don't think either of them are going to kill each other.
I say that because I always miss first blood, and I feel sad. But, alright, Navi gonna be running an offensive tri lane with Puppey not being there. Generally, you don't see your Chan or Enchantress starting out in the enemy jungle at level 1. Generally, you see them start out in their own jungle and then they walk the creep there. It's a little bit somewhat dangerous to start out in the enemy jungle because you never know if you're gonna get surprised bus X by 3 or 4. So this is definitely the safer route. But as a result, that dueling up top right now, they're not getting a single thing done. Kuroki not really getting a single asset either, so it's tough for them.
Yep, and Jo and Beatus are just gonna farm these pulls, so I'm not sure what Navi plans to do with this dual lane. They could have planned to smoke gank it, but they can't do that anymore. So.
Yep, that smoke a little bit awkward to say the least. Alchemist trying to get that level 2, unfortunately unable to do so. Once he gets level 2, he becomes a little bit more dangerous in lane. And looks like we do have Puppey rotating up top with 2 of the bigger creeps. Dendi is gonna hit himself level 3. Hooks are not being skilled just yet. Not that he needs it for now. And of course, generally, when you have the smoke right there, you actually just use your smoke here, and then you pop out and try to get a kill. But now it gets a little bit awkward. He basically walks in the lane with big creeps.
Yeah, I think that Fear actually pinged Puppey in the lane, so I'm pretty sure that they know. They definitely know now, but yep. I'm pretty sure Fear saw it coming.
And, that was somewhat of a missed opportunity. The Furbolg's gonna come here and harass Jo a little bit, and prevent any kind of pulling shenanigan. They could actually make a dive here if they really want to do so. Somewhat difficult to do it against Sven, tankier hero with, of course, armor backup from Warcry. But this Furbolg, as well as this big troll, really preventing Jo from doing the pulls that he wants to be doing.
That's actually a Hellbear Smasher there, Luminous.
Yeah, whatever. It's a Furbolg warrior. I don't know why Valve renames these guys every 2 minutes and expects us to remember it. But back in the bot lane, this is a lane matchup we haven't talked about too much. Is Funix is bad and Bamboos and Weaver. Of course, I imagine that the Bat's gonna have the advantage there, but Bamboos not too far behind. In fact, he's doing a decent amount of harass. He's picking up a decent amount of CS against the Bat. He's not falling too far behind, and you don't expect him to actually die here. So it's gonna be basically a free farm lane for both of these guys.
Yep, mid's actually just a farm fest, and really good play by Demon, making sure to get those early boots. That's pretty much going to guarantee that Pudge will never kill him. Once these guys hit 6, oh, Skewer into tower? Nope.
Nothing yet. I'm constantly making sure that I'm not missing too much action. This Shockwave is going to bring Dendi low, but then they basically have to pop 2 self, and he's going to be back on the full HP. The very, very awkward lane up top here with Puppey not really jungling, because, again, he's a little bit afraid. The smoke is not there, even though both these guys are rotating off the map. Miracle perhaps trying to drop a ward. Yeah, no river coverage just yet. And Dendi still lasting away in the mid lane. Yeah, this game is going to be somewhat passive till, I want to say, once Pudge hits level 5, 6, 7. Hook is going to get a little bit of CS on the mid lane. Cool.
Yep. Pudge is going to really open up this game. Once, I think laning phase will continue until Pudge decides that laning phase is over. Because Weaver and Bat could die, but I don't think that Funix will let that happen. And Weaver's probably not going to die.
Yeah.
Puppey, I think Puppey's making the right decision here just to farm the jungle, because I don't think they're going to kill top. I think Miracle should even go bottom and pull. But Navi has a plan. What it is, I don't know. But You can bet that teams this good don't do things without thinking about it. So this is intentional. Whatever this duel lane is supposed to do.
Well, I imagine this duel lane is supposed to not die and get whatever EXP they want, they can get, and try to get whatever farm they can as well. Fear's going to be dropping a Storm Hammer into Illuminate. This is not really going to kill and do a little bit of harass. Even baits out Marigold's lift, so it's not too bad. And well, maybe they could actually dive this now if they really want to do so, but no, yeah. I imagine the EG lane up top, they want to get their supports high level enough. They want to get AO to 6 as soon as possible. You can see that he's spending a lot of time pulling the jungle. No points into overcharge yet. I do want to say that's somewhat of a standard build. Of course, having Tether and Chakra Magic is always very nice. It means that nobody's ever out of mana. Meanwhile, on the bot lane here, Bamboo and Funnick harassing away. One thing I do want to point out is that these early game smoke usage by Enchantress, the early one that's a little bit misclicked, the one I think he had on stash, yeah, he has it on himself right now. Normally, I don't want to point it out too much, but back in the mid lane here, Dendi eats the RP, skewer back towards the tower range, and Dendi might actually just die here. One more shockwave is going to do the job, I think, and Dendi gives up First Blood. So we didn't expect kills on the mid lane, but RP really changes that, and here we go, Demon putting a quick one here on Dendi. Dendi really needs his quick level. Let's see if he's going to teleport straight into lane and start getting a kill there. But going back to the point of Smoke of the Sea, Dendi's one of those players that love to buy smoke on his Pudge and just roam across the river and try to get kills. He's going to be basically limited there as well. Funnick in a little bit of trouble on the bot lane here. Eating a little bit of bug harass. Whoop chasing to that fire, not very smart, but look at how low Funnick is. Funnick's off the map, and he's still harassing Bamboo. What play on this bot lane. Both guys completely out of reach, and Bamboo still so low. He's out of magic wand charges. He's going to be fine.
And this is such a pleasure to be able to watch Bamboo and Funnick play in one-on-one lanes. I'm happy that neither of them have really off-laned either game. They're just kind of going at each other.
Yeah, and I think Funnick had the advantage in game 1, and it's hard to say who has the advantage. Maybe Bamboo that has the advantage in game 2 now. Magnus finds himself a double damage. I love our early RP usage, the way that Dendi did it, or excuse me, not Dendi, Demon did it right there. It just makes that your second RP cools down, and you can even use it for early game team fight or for that solo gank again. What is happening? It seems like Wiss is, he walks under the, he walks under
knows he wanted him. He wanted him real bad.
And right now there's nothing for him to tether to. Oh, does Jo know? That's a question. The hook! He fires, he missed. Yeah, nothing too big. You miss a hook, no big deal. Puppey gets himself a quick level 5. He's going to be looking for level 6 as well. Yeah, and the question is, when is Dendi's going to start leaving the lane? He doesn't have that teleport scroll. He will be able to get a smoke from the Enchantress if he needs it. But for now, still just last sitting away.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Dendi can do. They can kill Mag if he hooks him. If he goes top, if he hooks Jo, then Jo can probably tether before he gets ulti. If he hooks Fear, then Jo will tether in and Dendi will actually die, I think. And I don't think he'll be... Oh, actually they gotta kill bottom. Looks like Kuroki rotated.
Funny comes down here with the help of Kuroki, gets a kill. And I think Kuroki will stay here, and Bad Rider most likely will go back to jungle. Not close to his Blink Dagger by any moment of stretch of imagination yet. Dendi's still level 7. No teleport scroll being delivered just yet. Maybe they're starting to look for the kill. Sending on high ground. Dendi fires! That was close. And both teams have observed war up the high ground, so I think Demon has sight of that. Demon's playing very close to death here, but just realizing that he's not going to really in too big of trouble. Top lane, slow push is going to come through. Illuminate's going to blow down the creep. Tether providing the regen as well as a little tiny bit. No overcharge just yet. Fear working on the tower, even using his ultimate for now. It's going to be hard for these two guys to defend this, because if they eat a Storm Hammer, they're dead. Oh no, he's trying to get that deny. He's dead. I'm not exactly sure what that was about, but Miracle making a rare mistake. Generally a very, very poised player. It's going to give the kill to Jo. Jo's going to be quick towards level 6. I'm not too sure, even if Pudge gets level 6, if Jo has level 6 then, any Pudge gank's not going to be effective at all. Because he could get a hook and suddenly two extra people jumps on you. And, you know, big games happen. Mio Kuroki's kind of trying to TP out. Where's Demon? Demon comes in with a shockwave! Close, no Sigiller.
Yeah, this is a hard game to be Pudge. I don't know. In Dendi we trust, I guess.
Well, so far Dendi is, Dendi's game hasn't started yet, I want to say. He's looking for a rune on the bot lane. Demon's right there already. Firefly being used right now. Bad Rider's gonna find Demon. Flaming Lasso is ready to go. Is he gonna use it? There's a Flaming Lasso. Is Dendi gonna set up a perfect hook? There. Oh, Dendi! Oh, that was well planned. What happened was not actually planned, I suppose, and didn't work out. Alchemist
Just a
still-
warning shot. He wants Demon to know how it's gonna be in a couple minutes.
Well, I mean, Dendy's fired too many warning shots. He's got one on JL as well, and I don't know. Maybe EG says you guys got bark but no bite. But so far, Miracle's trying to find himself at level 6 out on the top lane either. I don't know. I feel like EG's offense is just not here. Dendy trying to get a hook on the mid lane, but the ward coverage is so good. EG's just not too afraid. They will always know where this Pudge is. And the only one time they didn't know, he misfires, so it's tough. It's tough for Navi.
I think EG's content to farm as well. I mean, they have RP, which is, I don't know. I think it probably is the best ultimate for late game. So they don't have to worry about anything. They have Weaver, and they have a Spin with the Wisp behind him, and they have Empower. So if it goes too late, Spin will just accidentally kill everybody with Cleave.
Kuroki coming on the bot lane. He's looking for the stun. He's looking for the stun. He's gonna get himself. The question is, are we gonna see the Wisp? No, we're still level 5. So close to that level 6. He's got himself a bottle as well. That means him and Sven's gonna have all the regen in the world. Meanwhile, Bamboo going into jungle, trying to snipe off a couple creeps from Puppey. Puppey having Sentry and that smoke still ready to be used. Demon finds himself an illusion up top. And where the hell is Dendy? Dendy looking to cut off Bambo, but Bambo's already way out of there. The way I see it, and the way that you talked about it during the draft, you could farm with the Wisp. It makes it so hard for Dendy to actually find any kills himself, because he's always going to have to deal with 2 or 3 more, unless he ganks up Wisp. And in terms of a raw farming game, as we do see a toss back on Demon, Demon should be fine. In terms of a raw farming game, Sven and Weaver should be able to outcarry. Well, I say should be able to outcarry, but there's also, you know, Alchemist will Greevo Greed being maxed right now. It's actually really hard to say. I do want to say that EG has better late game still, though.
Yeah, something that a lot of people don't realize is Pudge is actually ridiculous late game. Like, if Pudge does really well, gets an S-Blade and an Ag, he is nasty. Like, he's so strong.
Have you
Plus
ever
his
seen a
auto
Pudge in a pro game that has those kind of items?
attack- I can't say I have, but it's you can't count it out. It does happen. But that's usually from ganks. Pudges don't like farm creeps to do that, and right now
I hear
Ganks aren't
relocate
happening.
on the bot lane. They see Kuroki. Swarm's gonna start up. Stormhammer's gonna follow through, but that's a 2 stuns. Kuroki's trying to survive this. He does have 7 charges on the magic wand. I think he will be able to survive this. They're gonna try to break that tether, but they're back out of there. Meanwhile, the Bamboo gets netted. Bamboo's on. Yeah, Bamboo's fine. So a whole bunch of ultimates being used. Nothing really being killed. Bamboo's still on the run. He doesn't have time lapse just yet. He could tread toggle though, and he's gonna have his Sakushi stolen. One of the best spells that Rubik can get. Again, nothing really happened. I think with the relocate down for about 150 seconds, this is time for Dendy to shine. He's got that smoke on him. He's looking for the hook, but Dendy's just having a tough time finding anybody. The awareness is there for EG, and they're not gonna let you punish them really like that. As to say that though, Beatus might get picked off on the mid lane. They see Beatus. Beatus also sees Pudge. His horse is galloping him out of there, and he should be fine.
you notice how much Navi's investing into counter warding, making sure that Dendy has room to roam. That's something really important about picking Pudge. Not only do you need an awesome Pudge player, but you really need to play the game around it, and it affects both teams' warding quite a bit, which is something I think that's often overlooked.
Well, thank you for pointing that one out. As having you here, we're not going to have that overlooked. But here's the issue. EG is pushing tier 2 up top despite having Wisp relocate down. It's going to be back in about 18 seconds. Demon already has his Blink Dagger. This has got to be one of the earliest Blink Dagger. I'm sure the First Blood, very, very helpful in that. And how does EG, or how does Navi take a fight here? Blink Bat is not online yet. He stopped it for the Tranquil Boots. Is it on the chicken? No, it's not. Blink Bat's not online. Dendy's not finding any hooks. Tier 2 is going to get pushed. How do you defend it as Navi? You don't have any really good tower defense. You talked about the Acid Spray, but at this point of the game, he has 1 point of it.
I think you defend it by not defending it. You just try to trade.
Try to trade, yeah.
They're going to get crushed if they try to fight. If they had Blink on Bat, what they could do is do like a distraction lasso and then try to hook the mag as he comes in, but that's going to be hard to do, even if they're aware that they can try something like that. Like, I don't know if they can execute it, but I don't think you fight. It's so risky, and yeah, I think you just trade here.
Well, EG has about 2,000 gold lead. I imagine that gold lead will start to extend as EG can freely get those towers, as well as freely farm wherever the hell they want. And yeah, it is going to be tough. I don't want to talk about late game versus late game, because I don't think the game will be decided by then, but there's also a sense of inevitability, and until Dendy starts to hit some amazing hooks, like this hero is actually just a glorified melee creep in my opinion, and that's why we don't see Pudge being picked so often, and because the skill levels there, the ward coverage is necessary, like you pointed out. And looks like Dendi is back. Tier 2 most likely is going to fall on top.
I don't even know if they can trade because Keeper can just TP and counter push.
Well,
They're smoked. They're
yeah,
going.
Na'Vi has other plans. Right now, completely prepare is the Dire team. Like, they have wards down there, but Smoke's gonna make it summer. Yeah, the hook, the immediate fight. Jail's gonna be dead before the Stormhammer actually comes in. Miracle lifts one up. Where's the Blink RP? Blink Skewer. RP's gonna be only just on one. Dendi's gonna get picked off immediately. Any buyback from Dendi? Nothing just yet. Firefly is gonna be used right now. Flaming Lasso's on cooldown. Or no, it's ready to go on Fair. Fair probably gonna get Flaming Lasso, and he's gonna be dead as well. Great fight from Na'Vi so far. That's gonna be a 2-for-1 trade. 2-for-2 now, as you see Demon blinking in for a kill. Meanwhile, Miracle, he's looking for him. He's got the Sakuchi. He finds himself one, dodges the Shockwave. He's out of there. Demon's got the blink in 5 seconds. He's gonna chase for another Shockwave. He's probably gonna blink first and then Shockwave, but Sakuchi not back ready. There's a Shockwave for Demon. That's a 4-for-2. It started out really well, but the mobility from Demon made him pay. Meanwhile, on the bot lane here, KuroKy trying to get farm, trying to get a little bit of pressure on this bot tier 1. I think he might even get the tower. No, Fear's going to be back in about 5 seconds, and he's going to TP in. All in all, I want to say an okay fight for Na'Vi, even though they lost 2 extra heroes. Defended that tier 2 that I really don't think they were able to defend. EG, though, still happy about that engage because Demon very, very ahead at this point.
It's pretty funny. They went for both. They actually tried to counter push and fight. So
yeah,
I didn't expect that at all.
Well,
yeah, they left Crook bottom.
They sort of did okay on the bot lane here, as you do see Sven coming in with the help of Jo, moving quite quickly. Uh-oh, KuroKy,
Chase is on.
Yep, he's dead. He's dead. Ultimate being used, being used to Jo. No tether even necessary. And that's gonna get another kill. Tier 1 now is suddenly in trouble on the bot lane. You really don't think you could take this fight head on. All in all, again, that top fight was okay for Na'Vi, even though they lose more. But you can see if, like, Demon right now, he's just stacking Bracer. He might upgrade that to your Urn. Or not Urn, excuse me. He might upgrade it to a Drums. He might just go for a full BKB. Like, any more HP that he gets right now just makes it more and more difficult for Pudge, and the rest of Na'Vi kills him. And this is the most high priority target for Na'Vi to kill. If Demon survives in these team fights, it makes it so hard for Na'Vi to initiate and kind of to maneuver around the team fights.
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
Looks like they're ready to jump a little bit on the mid lane here, as we see Miracle lifts up Bambo, but I think it's a little bit of distraction because Fear in position for that Stormhammer. Why are they not going on Miracle? Maybe that's why. Pudge Hook comes out of nowhere. Was close. Skewer backwards on Puppey. Shockwave is gonna miss, but here comes gonna be 2-3 man break. Bat Rider's gonna get 1 kill. Where's the Flaming Lasso? They see Bambo. RP's gonna be used on Puppey himself. Where's the Pudge throughout all of this? Pudge is on the back line. Meanwhile, though, looks like KuroKy comes in, gets up a 1 kill. Fear is low. Fear is gonna get picked off as well. What a fight coming out from Na'Vi. Meanwhile, we do have Bambo still alive throughout all of this. Somehow, time lapse being used, and then he's looking for those hooks. Oh my god, that was so close. That team fight was so hectic. I think the reason that Na'Vi won that team fight was really the RP not only finding one and a big creep from Enchantress. Even throws an uncharacteristically bad RP.
Yeah, KuroKy came in with the Shadow Blade, and they didn't know about it, so he charged his stun and stalked the Wisp in the spin and waited till he could stun them both, and then picked off the Wisp. So I think that probably has a lot to do with why they chose Alchemist here.
Alchemist, a rare carry hero that gives you a ton of burst damage early on, and KuroKy using it to full effect, using a Shadow Blade to walk in, using that stun. And so far so good here for Na'Vi to defend in tier 1. It seems like every time that Na'Vi decides to take a fight, their understanding of fight means they're not going to lose it flat out, and even if they do, they're not going to lose the tower because the enemy gets fairly low. We talked about the lack of Blink Dagger on Funnick. He's going to have it after another wave of farm. Dendi looking towards next big item. Imagine it's either going to be a Force Staff or a Cloak into a Hood. But for now, Bambo's effect has been somewhat kind of limited. He was actually doing quite alright in the laning stage, but all he has to show for was a Strength Threats and a Perseverance. He's very far away from his own Lincoln Sphere, and still a very, very easy target to pick off if he's locked down. So, all in all, Dendi and his team doing quite alright. What a turn of events. I saw the 12-minute blink, and I said, you know, Na'Vi's in big trouble, but maybe EG's not as ahead as I imagined.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to start farming. Na'Vi might try to push bottom, but I just want to point out that ward on the tier 2 top is really good because, like I said, wards are crucial against Pudge, and they placed it to the side so it doesn't show as much, but it's very unlikely they're going to counter it. So that's really what matters, is they see TPs on that tower, and it doesn't get countered. So something for your support players to take note of.
Meanwhile, we do see the Batrider flying on the top. He's looking for a Flame Lasso initiate. You could initiate on Bambo, because there is a 0.25 second fade time on Sakuchi. Unfortunately, Bambo a little bit quicker on that. Yeah, they dropped this particular war up top during that tier 2 push, but Dendi and his entire team just bypassed it with the smoke, so they probably realized that there was a ward there, and you know, it's just a common war spot if you're pushing at tier 2. And meanwhile, Navi says, now we'll trade for the tier 2, and here we go. Hogue is gonna come in to somehow finds Bamboo, but no clap with RP. That's gonna find too, but RP was stolen. Counter RP comes in from Miracle. Oh, Fierce gonna try to right click away. Is he gonna get bitten? That's a question. No bite coming out from Pudge yet. He still has it. He's looking for the hook. He does not find it, but they get the kill on Sven. Nonetheless, Sven buys back. Relocate goes back out on the Wisp. Navi is going to be retreating. They're down 2 heroes so far. Funnick Firefly is out. He's going to blink away just fine. Meanwhile, the Puppy is low. Bamboo comes in for the kill. Bamboo's low. Bamboo's going to be dead. Funnick's low. Funnick doesn't have magic wand. His Fireflies is out. Funnick's going to be dead. He's going to try to TP out. And no such luck there. Fear gets a double kill after a buyback. That was a huge win for EG, I think. Losing only Bambo as well as Fear, but the buyback securing a lot of kills and defending that tier 2. Very early game exciting fights here. And how's that going to extend to the mid game as we see some key item pickup? Mask of Madness is up on Fear now. Imagine that the Beatus' mech is going to be up very soon. A little bit the people that are somewhat lagging behind is Bambo. Still haven't got an item finished. He's really getting targeted in these team fights, as well as Jo, who just dies at the beginning of team fight, unfortunately. He was okay in the last one, though.
Bambo is basically playing a support Weaver. He's got 7 assists right now, which is a real bummer for him, but it's hard to say anything about that. It's just how it happens.
Well, how are you going to get kills with that 150 damage nuke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking for that ultimate orb. Again, that was a decent 2-man RP, but Rubik way on top of the game stole it, and the team fight turned it around. I guess my camera was mostly focused on Kuroki, or not Kuroki, on the Pudge. I'm not too sure whether that is the correct person to focus on. It's probably Demon that is, in my opinion, the X factor for Dire, and Funnick the X factor for Radiant. It depends on who he initiates on and how quickly they can pick him down. And so far, Funnick's looking for Bambo, Funnick's looking for Demon to counter initiate, and so far it's working out just fine there.
This Ancient stack is going to be so big for EG right now. This is probably Fear's BKB. This next fight's going to be really hard. The only reason Navi did so well in that fight is because they caught Fear with this Mask of Madness on and chain stunned him until he died. But if he's got BKB, that's probably not going to happen. They have Lasso and they have Pudge ult, but Pudge is almost always going to get tether stunned if he's that close. So,
yep, that is the BKB. A full 4 stack of Ancient to about 1,000 gold. And Fear only needs 1 or 2 more creeps away, and that there's this BKB, and it's gonna be so much more difficult to actually burst him down with Warcry, with Overcharge, and of course with his innate Lifesteal being granted by the Mask of Madness. We'll see if that's gonna be possible though. Kuroki working towards that AC. What impresses me so far is that EG is still able to keep that tier 1 mid tower alive. This particular tower really limits Pudge mobility all of the map. Something that we don't see too much in this particular game that Dendi really excels in other games when he plays Pudge is he's able to really solo roam all over the map and find like free kills on supports. He hasn't done a single thing in terms of that aspect. He's been providing in terms of in team fights disabling, but for the most part we haven't seen him, I guess, strike Fear into enemy heart. Generally when he plays Pudge, it's so hard for support to roam and move around, but this game seems like EG's got this under the control, I want to say.
Heal us.
Looks like both teams are looking to fight. EG's come back, Wisp and Spin will relook it in.
The Dire best do something about that bottom tower.
And we'll see if Navi commits.
Yeah, Navi, they think that the Firefly is right in this position, which is a common position to be a Batrider, to be at. Meanwhile, though, you can see the push up coming on the top lane. Fear gets his team to last hit there. And let's see if EG will keep on pushing. Yeah, EG will bait out at least a couple of TPs, and that's going to stop the push on the bot lane. Seems like Navi's going to be settling down in a slowing farming phase unless Sven wants to come on the mid lane. Kuroki does that Shadow Blade. Here we go. Where's the dust? The dust is right there, and Kuroki did not pop his ultimate. I'm not too sure whether even if he popped the ultimate, he will survive there. Probably not. And, well, free kill being picked up there. Is this a time to just straight up go into the Roshan pit? You can, right?
they're
Relocate being used. They're
relocating,
gonna
they're
go
looking
right on
for-
top of Dendi. The Tether Sun's gonna apply. The ultimate still on Fair. And right now the hook is gonna miss. Does he have to use a bite to help him survive? He does. He bited. The Tether should be cancelled, I imagine, on Jo. Dendi is dead. Yep, Tether did get cancelled. That's 2 kills. That should be Roshan coming out from EG.
Yeah, they can take their pick. They get Rosh or a tower. Looks like they're taking Rosh.
Yeah.
Which I think is the right decision, because after they get Rosh, they get a tower anyway, at least one. So Navi's in a pretty bad position here.
Yeah, and of course they still have the RP up. One pick off another after another. EG just using this combo so well. Again, we saw it the first time in G1 Western qualifier, and it worked to create effects there. And so far, it's working perfectly here as well. Leading by 6 kills. Goal lead's gonna stretch up to about 75,000, closer maybe to 9,000. Key item picks up. The mech is finished. Finally, we see Ultimore on Bamboo. Demon's working on his next big secret item. No, it's Drum's finished. A little bit of HE stacking for Jo. And Fear looking to use crits, I imagine, or AC. Some of these big late game items. It's going to be crits. Broadsword being picked up here so far.
And Navi hasn't had any ancient stacks to farm, so that's... Alchemist obviously does really good with any stacks, even small camp stacks. He gets so much gold, but he hasn't had that luxury as Fear has, so... Especially with the Wisp pick, it's even though he's Alchemist, it's really hard to keep up. And you saw when Navi was trying to push that bottom tier 2, they ended up not getting it, and EG took top, because it's just another luxury of having Wisp on your team, and that's why most teams will always first ban this hero, because it really changes the game. I can't say it's not Dota when there's a Wisp on the map, but your strategy changes in every aspect.
I remember there's a couple interviews where Puppey and Kuroki talked about how they respect
Okay,
Wiss's...
coming in.
Well,
Somebody's cooking.
Puppey's dead.
Dyer's mid-tower.
And here's the importance of having all these wards in the enemy jungle. It makes those relocate gank a lot easier. I'm very surprised that Puppey got caught out by that. But what are you gonna do when they relocate right on top of you if you're Enchantress? You're not gonna make it out in time. And that's kind of what happened. But yeah, remember Puppey and Kuroki said in like different interviews that they respect Wiss's power, but they think the hero's extremely beatable. So far, they're not making a good case of it because EG is getting all these key ganks off. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane here, B just going to get initiative on Funnick jumps in. Does he have enough burst damage to actually get the kill? No, they don't. And that's it. That's your initiation, and Funnick's going to get the hell out of there. Meanwhile, Bamboo's going to come right in. They really want to chase this. Batrider's low. The armor is being completely drained. Meanwhile, we did see a 2-man RP. The Sunhammer is going to come right in. Denny's going to get focused, and Denny's going to go down as well. Suddenly, that's 3 dead. I mean, Funnick, I think he died to Bamboo as well. Yes, he did.
Yeah,
and that's
Bamboo
going to be there
chased him
too.
down.
Tier 2 and maybe even Tier 3 going down.
Radiant's mid-tower.
And I love the fact that Puppey just dropped the ward in preparation of that Tier 2 going down because he knows.
Yep.
He for sure knows that Tier 2 is going down. Having a little bit of ward visions right there is not bad. But Tier 3 in big trouble as well. RP may be down, but 3 hero is dead. And these 3 heroes are not exactly good at defending the base. I mean, where the hell is Kuroki dropping his acid spray? He's nowhere to be found. There's a cliff being used. Tower's very low. Kuroki finally healing back up. He's going to drop that. Yeah,
They still have this Aegis too. I think this has got to be racked. I
Yeah.
don't know what Navi can do about it.
a pick-off after a pick-off. It doesn't feel like Navi's playing their A-game today. It's just somewhat too easy, especially in this game too. EG finds all these freebie, and they will transition into many kills. Sven gonna be picking up his Demon Edge very soon. Daedalus followed through. And now with the tier 1 going down, very similar to what we saw in game number 1. Once we have a Rax going down, suddenly the other team gets basically supreme map control, farms all the enemy jungle, but Navi looking to rotate out, trying to get a pick off. Bamboo, Sukuching by. Are we gonna see
Yeah,
a...
Where are you going?
Lincoln's and Aegis is a hard kill.
It is a hard kill. Enchant breaking that Lincoln's, and he's out of there.
He's just gonna scuttle on away, like little bug that he is. He's fine. Looks like Navi wants to push this mid tier 1.
What the hell is Puppey doing right now?
Does he give up? This is weird.
Yeah, he's got Force Dust in his dash.
Mid-tower won't last much
Heal us.
longer.
Okay, Puppey?
The Dire
Alright, man.
went and fortified their
Maybe this is a distraction. They really want that tier 2. Or the tier 1, I mean.
I guess. Maybe.
Oh, this is awkward.
This is some next level Dota I've never seen in my life. Bamboo's gonna try to go on Miracle. The relocate come in.
Relocate
That's
come
gonna find 2. 1 cleave, and then he's the second one to follow through. Whatever the distraction tactic is, it did not really work because he died in enemy base. His allies died in front of the tier 1 tower. Tier 1 tower is not being brought down. Funnick is on his run, and there's a GG being called
You
out.
hate to see this kind of thing happen.
Well, it did happen. And
Lost one.
Well,
I guess you go on style? Question mark?
I hope he's having fun and just laughing rather than really mad and just throwing.
Someone's having technical
But yeah,
difficulties.
EG takes it 2-0.
Yeah, EG does
Very
take it
impressive
to you.
play.
Again, from the beginning of the day till now, I don't think EG made any kind of big mistake. It doesn't feel like now the question like dawns in my head: why isn't this team like straight up invited to to TI3? Because they look like a TI3 invite team, at least the way that we see them play in these two games.
Radiant's mid tower
And
is
they did it against Navi, so you can't ask for much. So.
And, well, good game. Quick 2-0. EG, really good stuff.
We're gonna have Alliance versus Dignitas coming up next. That should start in about an hour in time. And of course, he is Broccoli. I am Luminous. TI2 ticket or TI3 tickets goes on sale in about 5 minutes. The place you could buy it at is dota2.com/store. Also, what you could pick up in the store is a WePlay ticket. All of the WePlay top 8 bracket, all of the semifinals, grand finals. We have a weekend long of WePlay. If you want to support the tournaments, definitely go check out the WePlay ticket. Only $3.99. A ton of replay, a ton of in-game action coming your way. I miss a lot more First Blood than I should have, and if you don't want to miss First Blood, I guess one of the ways to do it is actually get the ticket. I would try not to miss First Blood for the remainder of the day. I do apologize on that. Of course, I do want to thank the sponsors for replay, as well as want to thank my co-caster Broccoli for coming along. And that's it for now. We're going to have Alliance versus Dignitas in about an hour. Don't miss that game. And of course, Dota 2 store for the replay, as well as TI3 tickets. We'll be back in just a bit.